guess getting past the man ain't that simple after all. So, what now? Murder, huh? That sounds like a lot of hard work. You'd never see me investigating a murder. I don't believe you. Post Laventura, it wasn't. I'm doing much better here at the harbor. Being an honest union man with a lot of free... Sorry. Busy surveying the situation. Wiretapping, telescopic batons, futuristics, or calling in tactical air support. You guys have air support, right?
Because we don't. We don't have air support.
I get it. Hush, hush about... All right, I may have some advice for you. First, don't fight him. Obviously. Second...
Maybe that would work. We'll have to see.
Nice aggression with the native. Don't let the chief fool you next time. You don't need to be that up in his...
Not bad advice, actually.
Let's talk about our right to work. You here to fuck with us? Beat the honest worker down. We're here to fight for a cause. Stripes usually have problems with people who have causes. Good. We're fighting for a cause here. Right to work! Besides, we're not that different. It helps if people see us talking. Cops and strikebreakers stick. Rights of people. Rights of workers. To have gainful employment. Might be time. Don't let the fat bastards tread on you. I don't trust cops, but I can see you understand the right to work! Right to work! Maybe you should ask them the questions. Like, we have families to feed, you piece of shit.
So do we, Scott.
Have fun. Union shits are on full strike. Don't think they're going to let you through the gates. Trying to meet their fat boss. I know nothing about a murder.
The mention of a killing sends a barely noticeable shiver of tenseness through him. Interesting.
What are you talking about?
Yes, he's tense.
Right to work! It's shameful. Cops doing nothing. You should bring backup. Open up the gates for us. Blockading gainful employment for workers is a crime.
We are not picking a side in this.
Pity. Let us work! When a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches can't get beats me. They mumble nonsense about boardrooms and...
There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. His shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls held up by a belt. See, he ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers, raising both fists. Silence is the answer. There's something off here, but you've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy. Ask him where he's from.
What's it to you? Am I a suspect? Done no crimes. I only fight for the rights of people. We're all workers, right? workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain, in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill. Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell? Uh-huh. It was a long time ago. Honest men and women. We came here to help the harbor run smoothly.
I have a question. Why do all these men follow your lead?
You think they follow because I'm big and loud? No. They follow the rules of the market, the rules of the economy, because they were given a job to... We were promised work. We'd be in there, working, if the bastards hadn't shut. Main gate's locked. Would take heavy ordnance to bust it open. And I don't mean the scrawny mess punk either. I mean head measurer. Or whatever he is. Yeah. Giant on the bridge that kicked your ass. Head measurer. Won't let the workers by. The access pan bad. Standing on a narrow bridge, he's got a strategically advantageous position. I don't know how the Union has a trained killer up there. But that one's no joke. And my men... Why don't you go arrest them instead? I'm sure that...
It would be better for the neighborhood if you went home, at least for now.
No! They will give up eventually. Or get drunk. Leave the button unguarded. Then, we charge. No! I'm not a fighter. I'm a worker.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy Grad-made machine is... The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin. The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of... The back end of the cabin has a small perched...
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy. Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine.
An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island. A silver plaque on the statue's pedestal reads, "Not a good track record of mental health in that family." Even by the standards of the Philippian kings, he blew through the whole. His own maladministration foreshadowed the fall of... Stories have it that he had his bedroom converted into a treasure. He called it the Sol Auron. It was obscene.
The man certainly knew how to live.
But wait, you haven't even heard about his fabled cocaine addiction. You see, old Philippe wasn't just good at squandering the national treasury on gold and ceremonial weaponry. He was also a prodigious cocaine. His Majesty's courtiers said it helped him connect with the higher realms. That's what the revolutionaries said 150 years later. Beneath the cold waters of the Insulindi, the original was blown apart by communards. Most historians think the coalition's hasty Some years ago, a group of liberal, artistically inclined... The statue is supposed to capture the moment it was blown apart, like an instant frozen in time, a rare butterfly trapped in amber. Neither do people in Martinez. The statue has proved to be controversial. Philip III, the squanderer, however, with his bronze face up in the air, doesn't seem... simple little cadence. He seems to be making it up as he goes.
From another planet. Hey there. It's the jam, my man. It's a traffic jam for the ages. Harbor gates up the street are shut tight. No explanation. Meanwhile, we're all stuck here in long-haul limbo for days upon days upon days. Yeah.
It's official. He too agrees. This is the antechamber.
Feels like forever. Like I was born on this here roundabout and this was all I ever knew. Just me and the metal and the tires, the oil and... Yeah, imagine. It's been a whole...
Behind the laugh, however.
So tell me, what do you need? It's like, whatever's going on over at the docks.
Going on strike would probably help you dodge a bullet or two.
Some pretty wild stuff, I hear. Like a giant new power crane in half the company. I've heard talk there's a company rep in town, too. Like, a strike negotiator type. They'd know what's up. They want to keep that money flowing in, my man. Ka-ching. Maybe you should. Cops don't get...
The RCM is a self-managing organization that operates on donations. We promote our own leaders. It would be like striking against your own mother. Yes, but do continue. You were asking about the strike?
Anything else? Yeah, this... Us lorry drivers. Camionneurs. You still hang around here waiting for this mess to end. Most have scurried off somewhere. Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examine...
He tries his best to look nonchalant, but there's a rigidity in him, as if trying to conceal something warm and deep beneath a cool exterior.
He ain't one of us drivers. I know that. All accounted for.
It's easy to see he's telling the truth. He's kept his nose out of the dark stuff.
Analyzing the fundamental structural and psychological conditions of being stranded. Nothing. I'm just messing with you, man. Don't mind my idle verbosity. Oh, high-grade narcotic.
Time to arrest him.
Can't even get a few jokes past you, my man. I've got another haul of found cargo. They usually get shipped to Grad in the Occident, though we've been making headway in the Il-Moran market lately. Not unless they've illegalized sports equipment while I was on the road. This rockin' beauty. Sure is, like a rash you can't get rid of.
A motor lorry, also called a camion, on Caillou and neighboring islands. This one looks roughed up enough to be some sort of
Good eye, my man. Yup, she's an old one, but reliable.
There it is again. A little touch of sadness beneath his cool. He thinks he's spent too long in this lorry. The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm. In his eyes, an unfamiliar longing. It's hard to say. His gaze...
Excuse me?
A flinch jolts his frame. The question has touched a nerve.
Man, I don't know what to say. I miss my family. They're all I have. My wife, second kid on the way, waiting all the way in Diora. And here, Diora of the Seven Seas. It's on the other end of Le Caillou. What's it like? Good. What about you, Copman?
Is that what it is? No, it's scarier than that. You're pursued by a hunter, smelling of apricots and sorrow, and the past.
I feel for you, my friend. It's bad, but thanks for this. It's nice to talk to someone, and I know it wasn't easy to ask. Don't be a stranger.
There are clothes inside.
Don't be shy. These are premium class clothes. Good quality fabrics, best retro design, Save the economy with your style, officer.
You find your hands deep in tattered and faded garments made from weird polyester blends that make your body itch and sweat.
Economical, but also trendy. Look first hand, buy second hand. Keep the economy moving.
No good. All you can come up with are some treated wool pants. You can tell they're too tight around your thighs and too loose around the waist.
No luck? Why not take another look, officer? Keep supporting the economy.
You see too lowly.
I can see you've a taste for luxury, officer. Can't keep your eyes off those sneakers?
These once respectable speakers have been
No, don't look at the speakers, officer. Look at the sneakers. The sneakers are the stars here. These, officer? These speakers are Samaran garbage.
Samaran trash. That sounds like they're from the Samaran People's Republic, produced under the dictatorship of the proletariat.
No way, officer! These aren't for sale. They're bad speakers. Low-fi socialist junk. No, officer. You're a high-class policeman who accepts nothing less than the best. Lucky for you, I've got the best on sale. Well, if you want, but see, they are the pedestal for my sneakers. If I let go of the if, on the other hand, you wanted to buy the sneakers too, I could maybe throw in the speakers for little extra.
A pair of found...
Those sneakers, mister.
Only? That's madness. There's a pint...
You like sunglasses, officer? I've got the latest styles, right?
These are... Those UV stickers are almost...
These are all first-rate sunglasses. Premium design, superb material, very cool. UV resistant. These were definitely...
Abort. These are hideous.
Damn, officer! You look...
It's going to be very...
No, you are definitely not buying those.
Are you sure? But they look so good on you. You should think this through, officer.
No luck.
Oh, that visor is...
Hey, at least it might actually offer some protection against the sun. Not like...
You don't like it? Sure, Square Joe. No problem.
Typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps. The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring has been redone, and this would make quite a statement in your living room.
Yes, officer. As you say.
His manner is casual, but his speech is careful, measured.
It was brought to me to...
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property. You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it.
700 real. A bargain, I dare say. Hey, I don't know where it came from, but it's not every day you get to buy and sell something so extraordinary.
The boomboxes on the shelf look well loved. One especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic. This is you. Gold and orange. Just make sure it works before you buy it.
is the Harman Welsh W2. Made in Vespa, designed in Seoul. Plays all reel-to-reel formats. If police work means playing tapes, sure. You can use it for that? Absolutely. I've tested each one myself with recordings of speech. Found sounds and music from a variety of genres.
You see rows of toys sold. Try to find something pretty and cool here. Yes. Buy something nice. This sounds off. You shouldn't trust this guy. Big men on big horses.
Franco-Nigerian knight.
A long, long time ago. They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by...
This is what the loyalists looked like, yes, at first.
Which ones? Ah, those. Yes, they are. I find the paint job.
This set of soldiers isn't meant to look impressive.
You're probably talking about the revolutionaries. I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win. Maybe.
Why? What's this? A headless man riding a horse?
Oh, that's the Headless Phone Rider. The Headless Phone Rider. It's an urban legend. 50 cents. Bargain price. I'll throw in the tiny cap too. I think he's looking for it, or something.
Hey. Psst, psst. Hey, you. Yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start Yes, you're ready to start building communism again. You've built it before. They've built it before. Hasn't really worked out yet. But neither has love. So, what about all that communism you've promised? You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have more than 20. Oh yes, the mask of ambivalence. Don't deny it. You're about to rip. Everyone can see that. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or do we get right down to it? Failure. It's about failure. Of course you do. You are failure. You are communism. At you alone, against every living, you against the atom, the charm and the spin. Now get to work, comrade. Very well. I guess no one will build communism then. Tell anyone, there's one. You should build communism. Precisely because it's impossible.
Yes?
Evening, officers.
A burly man hangs out by the waterlock, carving up a generous serving of salami with an old hunter's knife. His eyes are fixed on a man stranded on the other side of the...
My friend Barry the Butcher is stuck on the other side of the waterlock. I'm keeping him company and eating his salami.
From the corner of your eye, you see a man in a yellow shirt and grey over...
Very good stuff. Anything I can do for you, officer? I wasn't here to witness it, but those look like tire tracks on that sign. Weird, huh? Then again, plenty...
The words, Daredevil.
Too bad it also takes a year and a day to repair anything around here. Especially a waterlock. The rest of the coast is closed off till then. Well, there's the fishing village, an abandoned fish market, a bizarro church. Yeah, not really much else. Just bombed out ruins. Sure thing. Want some too, officer?
Why not?
A couple of indicator lights are... This panel usually closes the waterlock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed salmon and butter sign in the way. The worn and beaten.
We can sit on benches.
You can revisit the bench if you ever need to pass the time.
The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular, sword-wielding barbarian on the cover.
Oh, Man from Hjelmdal. A very popular series of adventure novels. They're all blood and violence, scantily clad women, epic narratives, all those mystical things he encountered. What does it matter? They're all the same. However, if you're a novice of the series, I'd recommend Hjelmdalaman, the Man from Hjelmdal. It's
Rows and rows of Hjelmdalamen blur your vision. Maybe 100. Man from Hjelmdal, not even close. Man from Hjelmdal in hell. Man from Hjelmdal and the forest of slaves. Man, a twinge at the back of your head makes you flinch. Your eye starts twitching. Your hand reaches toward a book with glossy cover art of the very muscular Man from Hjelmdal in chains. She's laughing at him, belittling. Between the throne and the Hjelmdalaman lies a bonfire, casting shadows, especially those leering type. It's symbolic of vice. The display rack before you is burdened under piles of Man from Hjelm. You see a set.
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for employees only. Nothing. Now please go back to browsing the books. Don't you feel compelled to look at the books?
She speaks almost as if she's trying to put a spell. Oddly enough, the more she tries to draw you away from the curtains, the more alluring they become. You see some kind of charm, an irregular polyhedron assembled from bones. This is a traditional Seminese ward, meant to provide protection. Inhabitants of Ile de Fantôme. Aside from poking at it suspiciously, There is nothing else to do with the fishhead charm at this time. The curtain. Just as you're about to pull apart the curtains, the petrified...
Sir, don't touch that. I told you it's off limits for the parapsychologically speaking, we're done.
She looks away, mumbling. Why is everyone always messing with the curtains? Why can't they just buy books like normal people?
No, it's just a storeroom for the employees, I told you. Now please step away from the curtain. Why? It's not like anyone was killed there. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so impolite. Just please don't go there. I can't allow that. You'll only make things worse and unleash... You do? My God, even more reasons not to mess with the curtains. Just step away, dear sir. Thank you.
What are you, a coward?
There is something mysterious about the curtains, tattered with age and covered in dust, hang before you, as if taunting you. These shelves are overburdened with books from the same...
Oh, crime, robberies, murder. You're a police officer, apparently. You should buy...
Crime fiction. These books greatly overstate. What's more, they come not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. You see, Dick Mullen on the job. A killing is declared. Dick Mullen in the murder house. The final owner. Turns out he faked it to solve a case. Yes, there's also the tragedy calls for Dick Mullen. After all this, you still haven't found the answer to the one question that matters. Who is Dick Mullen? Your quick eye notices a small caterpillar crawling across a worn paperback from Dick Mullen's classic, Hard-Boiled. Could it be the motifs of unstable identities and shocking betrayals? Perhaps you're drawn to the dark and noirish atmosphere. Is it because the smoking dame in the slinky red dress on the cover is giving you a hard-on? Yes, it is. The bulge in your pants is embarrassing. Relax. It's not that bad. Also...
Something the matter, detective?
The lieutenant now...
I would certainly say she fits the description, providing that's your type.
The plaque on the shelf reads...
I would say... The Greatest Innocence. Yes, most certainly. It's a very influential historical figure. But surely the book is also very daring. The author aims to re-examine the universal understandings of the innocentic system. Certainly, it's prudent for a person to have it...
You feel like you should get this one. Definitely. It's important somehow. There's something personal inside. Browsing through all the books with all their names, suddenly, a particular high-speed love chronicles the Rome next to Irv's life story. Next to that, River Sholey...
I really must insist you buy one of the books. Reading them is not for free. Do still browse, though, but not too long. I'm sorry, I did not mean to rush you. You are browsing. Go ahead. Take your time. Time is commerce.
This bookstore is not amidst the various books. You find one written. The point of the book, and many others on this shelf, is to give it serves platitudes, while also telling everyone that tradition, wholeness, unity, balance. When it's up to your mind to heal yourself, then it's because of your mind that you're ill. In the various paranatural books still litter the shelf.
Sir, please, no browsing in that shelf. I can't have you end up, like, opening a police store next door and stealing my customers. Oh no!
Several maps. The maps look old and faded. This large map displays Ozon. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Caillou in a bookstore. It's The ocean breaks apart into a tangle of connections to other worlds. Words past the insulin, you have little idea what they are. Distant stars. Gods. Perhaps they are gods. Gods of distance and outer dust. The north coast of a verdant island is shattered by, to the east, rolling hillsides. Le Jardin, Stellamat, Hudon. It's somewhere to live. Not bad. Then there's... It's so small you can't even see it on the map. No, wait. No. This is somewhere to be. This is all you have. But it's still something. Streets and sodium lights. It's not really a map. Still, it's detailed. Could be pretty useful for scouting ahead.
I'm sorry, officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available. The other two are not for sale anymore. They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though. That old thing? It's an out-of-date map of a tourist location that never... From when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up. 4 or 5... They didn't get that far. For some reason. A shame the project never got going. Would be nice if someone fixed Martinez up. All these ruins are bad for business. Always good to be informed of your surroundings.
You've acquired an interactable item. Investigate this item further by going to the Interact tab.
The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez, with your finger moves through the various streets, finally coming to a halt on the spot.
For a more detailed view of the map, go to your journal and select the Map tab.
The curtains, tattered with age and covered in dust, hang before. You see a dimly lit room full of dusty furniture.
I warned you! You're unleashing forces beyond your...
A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of Seminese trinkets and charms. It appears only an echo. No one is there.
Makanya.
Ow. Shoot. Whose moronic idea was it to just run through the door? Don't you know that things like that hurt?
Are you alright? This looked...
What is going on there? Are you really trying to break down the... I warn you, don't tempt the spirit...
It barely looks like you've done any damage to the door, however. A small mountain of colorful
Wonderful board games, sir. The Graubritter is a fun game of economic competition.
Who are you going to play board games with? Do you have friends? or family? Are you actually friends? Or just colleagues thrown together by circumstance?
Friends are technically like... For playing with friends, I'd recommend Suzerainty. It's a civilization building game where you... Lousy auras that... I've heard they turn people into occult enthusiasts. That they have ritual.
An endless variety of source. There's also a large hardbound books in a board game section. Who wants to read books? There's a box that says Wirral 3rd edition mega setting supplements mod.
兵回収規制はちょっと。The small, wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along to something on her radio. The photo, an ambrotype from the turn of the century, as golden as it's the warmth of a winter night's fire. Maybe she could give you comfort and shelter. Some cigarettes? No response. Wherever this woman is, your words failed. Nothing. Her smile just...
Wait. She's just a distracted old woman. Better to leave her alone.
The tear machine stands. Your bottles clunk into the machine, and the money appears with a satisfying jingle. Do you know what you should do with that money, kiddo? You should buy more. The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says, 1 bottle equals 10 cents.
No. You need tear to use the tear machine.
Yes?
This Post Lavantorie mail collection box has been heavily vandalized. The box seems happy. Eat shit, pig. Fucked by the coon. And St. G with a crown have been scribbled on it. Jenny is a whore. The mail collection box seemed cathartic. Thankfully then, so do you. You shudder.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything. Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else? It's quite straightforward.
Ingredients for what?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL, and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from this. Yes. After they clear the...
Wildpine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, man.
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients for a cut. Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still... every chain has its weak link. Unlikely, officer. I'm talking about the lorries. Once the ingredients... Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries... I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you. No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our... This is a limited time opportunity. Once the thousands of liters of raw ingredients will pour on...
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
What is that, Luke?
Why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wonder since
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them we did. On more...
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement.
Well... here's your chance, officers. How do you think they're financing this strike?
There was a shakedown of local business.
With all due respect to these desert cacti. Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely. Then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one driver who will open up to you. The two might...
Or not. Though, if you have evidence to...
As eager as I am to share it, Lieutenant, once the job is done... Yes? Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorry drivers. It may come to nothing, or in the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance.
Is what you want to say, but it isn't that easy. Look at that lady. Take a gander. Squint your eyes. Bub. Why, yes. Tucked away under that while dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes. Red. These are the kind eyes of the rich man that... Now look at you. You misery-clad simian. Barely able... You're poor. Poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too... Oh, but you are. Too ashamed to ask this person for money. Oh God, the lieutenant is here too. Do not dishonor the Force.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask.
Voila, you're doing it.
Of course. How much do you need?
She's surprisingly nonchalant about this. Could it be that she somehow knows more about your predicament than she's letting on?
That's a good sum. Not too small, not fantastically large.
She removes a few notes and hands them to you. There must be about 200 real in that zip bag. Maybe a little...
So, I hope I didn't just bribe you, officer. It may not be technically illegal under the Emergency Act, but still.
You're right, ma'am, that donations are permitted under the emergency...
Which he most certainly will do. Now, how else can I help the RCM today?
Lonesome. Long way home. Here we go. Home awaits. Walk past Station 41 and through the market. Past the Boogie Street spearhead to the other side of the lake. The frozen eye at the center of the district. Then, past the video rental store on the corner. There, at the end of a street lined with pine trees. A small house, no larger than a matchbox. 11.
Give me a moment. The cold never does any good for my bronchitis. I'm fine. Fine.
You're still worried.
Now, what do you...
She's the cleaning lady. She knows the floor plan and the rest.
I'm no one. Just... if you could call it living. I have a little room upstairs right next to the coal room. It's barely bigger than a closet. But I don't complain, no. I have my bed and my aching bones to keep me company. And that's all. Oh, you'll find plenty of Martins here. Don't you worry. Pea-brain. Someone played a trick on you. Martinez, is a name for anyone.
Oops. You really didn't get the joke there.
I thought it was obvious. Anyway, officer, we don't have the witness's name.
Yes. I know who you mean. The scrawny boy who's always smoking.
Somewhere in the building, a child starts crying. You hear a radio tune.
What's he in trouble for? Talk? He lives upstairs in room 28. Go to the balcony. It's one of those doors there.
Thank you. We should go check out his apartment on the balcony. See if he's home.
That isn't just a five-pointed star. It's an inverted white pentagram.
I'll keep my armistice handy, detective.
He doesn't actually reach for his gun. The star and antlers was developed even today, half a century after. The star to symbolize also the wreath of antlers represents a natural crown because white is the color. Nothing at all. This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced. Number 28. This is where the cleaning ladies...
Let's see if anyone's home.
No one answers.
Looks like the young man we are looking for isn't home. I think our best chance to catch him. We should return tomorrow after we have finished with our day's work. How about 9 p.m.? Sound good? Tomorrow, 9 p.m., right here. Apartment number 28.
Damn. Turns out it's quite tricky finding someone. Remember, tomorrow. He's probably gone for today.
Give me a moment. Ask away, policeman. The hell am I supposed to know? Another nut job, I assume. Some lunatic lost his mind.
With how small these rooms are, wouldn't you want to break the... She mumbles some kind of a response.
Can I help you? Mine? No, it belongs to the Whirling in Rags.
Thank you for clearing that up. Why?
Why? To keep the hobos and drunks out. That's why. And the neighbors too. They put their trash there and they don't pay for the garbage company.
I thought as much. And are you...
Well, yes. Us and the garbage disposal.
It seems a little callous, doesn't it? Something stirs in you. Prod at him and find out.
What do you need them for?
It concerns the case. Please cooperate.
Just bring them back once you're done, please. Yes. Have you got it? Well? Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow. I'll unlock the electronic lock to your room. All the doors lock automatically at 9 p.m. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you? What thing? Yes, not the whole damn union, thank God. They come here in the evenings. Dumb, unruly types.
We should find out who this Lord faction is, occupying the booth. Loudness means talkative, and we need info. We don't. We have to wait. They'll show up sooner or later.
You glance at the clock on the wall behind the manager. Huh.
Good question.
They're probably getting drunk or protesting something somewhere. They probably fucking killed that guy.
I have a feeling we'll make their acquaintance.
What?
By the way, you should come back to this thing-based questionnaire if you see anything interesting in the Whirling later.
Another thing. Great. Yes? Absolutely.
You wait and see, Gav. Absolutely. In the question. A thin man is smoking below an exhaust hood. Occasionally, as you step in, he nods toward the table and says something. It must be his name. Garanzi. Garanzi Quebec. Sounds representative. The man puts his cup down and replies something. He smiles, and it's almost like music, especially with... The man ponders his cooking utensils.
Hello again, sweetie.
The worker isn't a deep...
Yes?
This trash container is locked with a well-oiled... Don't. Maybe you shouldn't. There is, but you won't like it. Sweat forms of... The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
We're just in time. This hasn't been emptied for over a week.
Among the threadbare kitchen towels, something catches your... As the legs of the slime-covered jeans begin to unspool from the garbage.
The victim's clothes? Cadaverine odor is faint. If these belong to the deceased, drop them in here, officer. Guitar-marked blue jeans. Pockets empty or emptied. He wore them with a belt, too. A white belt. The belt is missing. That's it. Do you see anything else in there?
Something slimy catches your eye. A drab, long-sleeved shirt, olive-colored.
This is a military-type overgarment. No label or serial number. This is the kind of rib-knit shirt that's worn over light armor to conceal it in a...
The rest of the rags are just kitchen variety waste. A yellow old...
All right. We should go to Gart again and ask if he knows who put the clothes in the trash. It could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard. Or that one. I'd advise against confronting that force. Not really. All we know is the victim's clothes are in the trash. The lid was locked.
The fuck's he on about, kids? You hear that, Kuno?
See?
The lieutenant nods. Then you see milk and egg rest with a box falls into pieces in your hands. It's just organic waste. Cold, nothing. It's nothing. What's this? A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. It's shiny. Something larger. A clipboard. A blue plastic clipboard with moist papers hanging from it. They look bad.
Officer, is that your paperwork? It is. Look. The plastic has the RCM street grid on it. You've even got an autopsy form in there. If you don't mind my asking, how could you have let your paperwork end up in the trash? Officer, this is an official piece of paperwork.
Easier said than done. How could this pathetic cabbage of copy paper and plastic ever become très disco?
It would also not hurt to start taking notes on the case. Now, tell me what you're eager...
Some items, such as the ledger you found, are interactable. Go to your inventory and select the interactive...
You pick out a broken mug with an oddly racist only in its... The container sounds a muffled gong.
That's one thing off the list. I think we got it all.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic board. Barely help. There's a piece of toilet paper. Or is it? It's a metaphor. Below the pathetics? Terror. It's just toilet paper sticking to the back of the plastic clipboard. You can take it off if you want. Still wet, the toilet paper peels off the plastic easily. An aluminium block runs the width of the board. Biting down, the surface is interrupted by a silvery sticker.
What? Yes, halogen watermark used for adding information to RCM. Any capable light with the right wavelength will do. All RCM vehicles have headlights designed to reveal.
This means you can read the watermarks if you just turn the light.
It depends.
How many years you've been on the force, he's thinking.
Okay.
While a bunch of sodden paper, they're not exactly white. They're yellowed. Once in a while, there's a red stamp. Work, strife, poverty. The Jamrock Court. It's the middle of March. What do you mean? Is that all? The notebook is annual. It says 51 on what remains of its...
Huh? 2 complex cases to undertake is a lot, yes. You really have to push yourself. I would not suggest it, lest you start making mistakes. 2? That's a lot. I didn't mean to say you are making mistakes, by the way. That was presumptuous of me. That's okay.
Like a fan of girls, the checkered papers dry, yes. A title, one might say even. One that draws inspiration from snoop fiction and vespertine cop show staples. Yes, all caps. Others appear more light-hearted. But it's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done.
You mean the alphanumeric? Officer, precinct, time of arrival at the scene? Oh, you mean the titular? Yes, well, it's a holdover from the early days of the RCM. Right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea how to do things. Again, in your defense, I seem to have named one, I pray his loved one. Rail spiked through the head. He died. It was a workplace accident.
There is, for precisely one more. 15 pages. The tasks you've completed flow out of the inspect, the interview, the cap. It's not exactly poetry. A satisfying slash sounds, things to be done, and...
No, actually. Any ideas? Great. That's great. I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. It's good we sorted this out.
You don't exactly close them. So much arson, petty theft, spousal abuse, handwritten logs on you don't exactly close them. So much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. Yes, you can piece them together using the alphanumeric code on the margin. It always begins with HDB 41. Why yes, your precinct number, every last alphanumeric in the files begins with it. And these are your case files. It's safe to say HDB are your initials. That is improbable. It takes about half an hour to piece one together. This one is, the mural is enormous. True love, people call it that thing. The graffito crew is easy to track down. Only the bell lectures have, the case files do not. The crew agrees to clean up after. The 9,000 people subjected to the mural's message, all of Lakeside, a staggering 78% of voters choose to keep it. Turns out the opposition were a loud minority. And that love truly is possible in the next world for new people. And it is too late for... Did anyone ask you what you believe in, man with the smelly toilet ledger? What do you want to tackle next? Or are we done? AKA Leslie and Burke. You were so drunk you didn't remember what it was. Leslie will always take his pants off when the only way for Leslie to stop displaying his genital. You would think that, but you're wrong. Threatening, fines, dragging them to the It's plain to see from the files that you, Satellite Officer JV, and Special Consultant TH had more important cases to attend to. You uncover cross-reference to several ongoing investigations, each brought to a standstill every time you drive. No, that's Burke, Leslie's shtick. He must have confused it with the In the process, the ledger sustains. He came at us, and at us. Can't get out of his apartment, an invalid, which is also why the officer responsible, narrowly, it would be, that's all you got. From the half, who knows? Don't worry, one day you may still catch the man with... Some assholes brought their couch outside and hung out on it. In the middle of the street, on the roof, on the hillside by the motorway. You know, yes, as you said here, inside they were leaving it out in all these unexpected cigarette butts, coffee cups, stupid... No, you didn't have time for that. These murder. Tum-tum-tum. At the hookah parlor was a case originally assigned, beaten to death by a throng of Villa Lobos gang members. Joseph Mills was on this case that he just couldn't. Mills didn't get off the pot. Not yet. He kept at it for a couple of... No, he was awful. Awful sense of humor, too. The worst jokes you've ever... Okay, so the case is handed to you because Mills isn't getting anywhere, and you look into it. Here's the setup. A young man is found dead in a hookah parlor. You know, those places where you go and smoke bubblegum-flavored vapor all day. Yeah, so anyway, no one enters. No one... Mills has no idea. Invisible assassin. See? You can't even read the thing without solving it. Yeah, it was that. Turns out, smoking hookah. Didn't you hear? Not much has changed in the meanwhile. It takes about half an hour to piece one together. Not much has changed in the meanwhile. In the back, then rip them from the binder and hand them out. 3. The topmost are misconduct fine. You don't have to be an intellectual giant to do police work. A monetary penalization ranging from 20 to 250 real. These are quite sinister in turn. They give a dozen pages of thin copy paper. Bright red. Yes, all that remains. The rest of the stinking cellulose. It's made of dark blue plastic, hard enough to beat someone to submission. Blue. The blue heart. Don't look into it. Something rattles inside. The plastic shimmers like lapis lazuli. But with your hands, you 4-sized pages hang from the clip, screwed to the top of the board. is not. The ledger quivers in your hand. As it shakes, the pages rustle. This pathetic mess suddenly the acidic stench of rotting food as it's just a racist. Oh boy, here we go. But the worn map features it's just a racist, but
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserable. We can pick up where we left off tomorrow morning.
You should pick that fat, juicy cigarette butt from the tray, light it up, and smoke the living shit out of it. The living shit. Your Mesolimbic reward pathway doesn't... Who knows what you are? A monster. How very astute of you.
The idea seems to make your neck...
Like a cat rubbing itself against its owner's calves. Or you could not do that. No one is making you. Good. They'll make you stronger, and plus, smoking them get... This is the door to the room you read.
Just a moment. You had some questions earlier, I believe. And besides, we should discuss our progress on the investigation.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then...
Where shall we begin? We should talk about the investigation, first and foremost. But I also remember you wanting to discuss the RCM? I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
You mean this?
Keeping the habit within the parameters he's given himself. Yet, were he to quit, he would lose the cool factor.
Yes. It's been a long and even... Well, you were so hungover that you couldn't... But we performed a thorough search of the premise.
Though you really dropped the ball on inspecting the body, he doesn't want you to feel too discouraged. Probably out of fear that you will just give up and keep drinking.
It's not my job to evaluate your methodology, officer. We weren't able to find... We tried to interview the wife. I have a feeling Joyce knows. Above all, though, today was...
I have a really good theory about why you're running so fast, son. Just you wait until we get up tomorrow.
It's impressive. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange. They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Rebachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule. Yes, although officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of... We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station calls here. You can't. Those who don't show up become... We are permitted to use whatever force we deem necessary, even lethal. We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition. You have to supply compelling evidence for what... Not a good position to be in, but yes. The last time was...
He says it matter. He has internalized it well.
That's an improbability. Perhaps even impossibility. Precinct 41 is known for a higher than average rate of police violence. A coalition government. The RCM was formed by the or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed. Be sentimental if you like. Either way, the Moralintern leases us the right to keep the peace. The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed. Okay. There are a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. What do they believe in? They are the interesting question.
Something even a little feminine.
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? The Moralintern?
It is more than that. There's some kind of affection in him.
Yes, I did. When I was young.
That's another.
But the years have changed that. Do you? We are in what is called the twilight of international law. The laws we claim to enforce come from the MI. Without them, we are simply vigilantes. Sadly, it is what we already are to the people of Martinez. Most of them, at least.
The dying.
They really don't like us here. It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs. We run this city. It's incredibly hot.
Night. Rows of houses. Thanks, kid. He thinks. He's grateful.
Me too. But I wouldn't count on... Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.